During the golden age of Gandharan art in the Kushan period, huge statues of Buddha were constructed in monasteries and carved into hillsides. In recent years, Taliban forces have declared that such depictions are idolatrous and should be destroyed. The 7th century Buddha of Swat, carved on a cliff in the Pakistani Swat Valley, which was once one of the most significant centres of Gandharan civilization, was dynamited by the Pakistani Taliban in 2007. Fortunately, the Buddha has since been restored and now acts as a powerful symbol of tolerance and resistance. In 2001, an estimated 70% of the National Museum of Afghanistan's collection was looted. The museum's director explains, "It was the worst day of my life. I was ready to give my life for the museum." Gandharan art is just one of the countless examples of the cultural richness and diversity which characterises Afghanistan's history. Gandhara was an ancient region comprised of what is now eastern Afghanistan and northwestern Pakistan, from around the 6th century BC to the 11th century CE. Alexander the Great's conquest of the region in 326 BC had a huge impact on Gandharan art, which merged Greek and Buddhist visual cultures. The golden age of this art came during the Kushan Empire in the region, from the 1st century to the 5th century, and it offers a reminder today of how the coming together of different cultures produces some of the most beautiful art. Gandharan sculptures were among the first to portray Buddha in human form. We can see the classical Greco-Roman influence in the standing figure of Buddha made around 200 CE and carved from grey stone called schist. His face closely resembles that of Apollo, and the naturalistic folds in his monk's robes recall classical togas. In a temple context, this sculpture would have been painted and gilded. Indeed, tiny flecks of gold can still be seen around the mouth and chin. Another sculpture, Head of the Buddha, might be compared with marble head of Athena, carved in ancient Greece around 200 BC. Both sculptures present highly stylized, symmetrical facial features and intricately woven hair. We might notice that the lines and curves of the Gandharan sculpture seem bolder. This will be in part due to the fact that it's less weathered. The striking shadows cast by his eyebrows create two distinct curves, which clearly highlights the urna placed in the middle of his forehead, a signifier of his ability to see the divine world. Similarly, the intricate waves of his hair, which would have been carved by hand, lead the eye upwards to his ushnisha, or top knot, a reminder of his warrior origins. Of course, Gandharan sculptures not only depict the Buddha, but many different subject matters. One remarkable statue shows a bodhisattva, a compassionate Buddhist being who remains on earth until all beings achieve enlightenment. He is depicted as royalty, with jewels in his hair and flowing clothes wrapped elegantly around him. It is not only the naturalism of this statue that recalls Alexander the Great's era in Gandhara. The plinth on which the figure stands also shows a small bodhisattva surrounded by 4 attendants and 2 Corinthian columns. The fragmentary figure of a mourner might have originally been part of a scene of the death of the Buddha. The figure is dramatically curved into a tight C shape, conveying such tension and desperation in one small piece of stone, emphasised further by the details of his ribs and downturned face. The craftsmanship and sensitivity in textures and details draws the viewer ever closer to these tiny relics of this ancient region.